Today we're going to talk about one of the great mysteries of the world. And this is something that men have been trying to figure out for thousands and thousands of years. You give them everything they want. You give them money. You give them shelter. You provide them with protection. You honor them in every possible way. And yet they're still not happy. And that unhappiness bleeds into a resentment, an anger. Yes, you could even say a hatred of the men who take them in. No, I'm not talking about children here. I'm talking about women. They just want more and more and more until there's nothing more to give. And then in the end, they're so dissatisfied with their lives that they end up on Prozac or some other antidepressant, anti-anxiety drug. They find themselves single in middle age. They're on the verge of a nervous breakdown half the time. And they hate the men that were trying to prevent them from experiencing all of that. So today, I want to jump into why is it women hate men so damn much when we've given them everything they've asked for? Let's talk about it. In a lot of these new movies that have come out, you have these female heroes who are playing these extremely masculine roles. And these masculine roles seem to be against men. And men are the villains, and the woman is the hero. And she's beating up men and putting men down and making it seem like men are the cause of all the evil in the world. And I just don't understand where all this hatred is coming from. It feels like our media has been taken over by this feminine cabal of very unhappy people who only want to destroy us or to turn us into some kind of villains in their lives. And then they wonder why guys don't want to hook up with them, why they don't want to get married. I just don't get it. So I asked my good old AI to give me some reasons. Why is it women hate men so much? And I asked for 20, but unfortunately the AI kind of repeated itself a few times, so I'll skip the redundancies, but I think I'm going to net out somewhere between 10 and 15. So let's take a look at what are the top reasons why women really hate men, because I simply don't get it. All right, number one, men do not have periods. I get it, I wouldn't want to have periods either, but I don't think you can blame us for that. I mean, I understand the resentment, the jealousy, the envy, but nevertheless, it just kind of goes with the show, you know. Women want pockets that actually work. I guess their clothes are not made functionally. I don't know if that's a reason to hate men, but I thought that was an interesting one. This is my favorite one. This is effortless aging. Yes, men, we do age a lot more effortlessly than women do, but part of that is because we're not quite as vain or insecure as you, so we're not as worried about it. Yes, we get wrinkles, we get gray hair, but we just don't care. And so, yeah, we're happier in our older age than you guys are. Of course, higher salaries. I mean, if we couldn't talk about higher salaries, I don't know what we would talk about. You know, the statistics that they come up with are really drawn out to specifically make it seem much, much, much more dramatic than it actually is. I've seen these statistics looked at from several different angles, and depending on what characteristics you take into account, there really is not that much of a difference between what men make and what women make. So let's just kind of put that one aside. But your belief that we're making more money than you, okay, whatever. Freedom from having to wear makeup. You know, you guys do this to yourself. We're not forcing you to wear makeup. You're choosing to wear makeup. This is not something that we're putting on you. So if you don't want to wear makeup, don't wear makeup. Nobody cares, you know? I think I'm totally against makeup. I think the shit looks goofy. It's like you're wearing clown makeup, you know? And it's bad for your pores, it's bad for your skin. And a lot of that makeup is made up with some real toxic crap. So I don't know why you'd want to put it on your face to begin with. So yeah, don't wear it if you don't want to. But don't blame us for your wearing makeup. We didn't do that to you. And that goes right into the next one, which is Men can just shower and go. Yeah, I mean, I can be from fast asleep to out the door in 15 to 20 minutes, including a shower, brushing my teeth, shaving, and maybe even having breakfast. While it would take you at least an hour and probably 90 minutes to accomplish the same task. A lot of that has to do with all this primping you think you need to do. Yeah, again, you guys are doing that to yourselves. That's not something we're doing to you. You think you need that because you're insecure, you're afraid of what you look like without your makeup on, whatever, you know. What's funny is that the same media that promotes you guys as these masculine heroines in all these action movies that, you know, are fighting men, are the same ones that make you think you need to wear makeup. So it's hilarious. I don't know why you put up with it. You guys should be fighting against this whole stereotype. Did you know that in the NBA, over 70% of the players are black? Yeah, over 70%. And fewer than 20% are white. And God bless the Hispanics, they make up like less than 3%, and the Asians, they make up less than 1%. So don't you think we should start some kind of an equal rights movement for NBA players? Because obviously there's some discrimination going on here. Don't you think? No, obviously not. Why not? Because it's a competitive game. It's a competitive sport. You are chosen to be on the team based on your ability to contribute to the team's victories or the team's goals. Women don't understand that. That basic premise of society in a man's world is a competitive world. That means that the skills that you bring to the table are the skills that you are going to be judged by. You do not get a handicap. You do not get a boost in the real world based on your gender. Despite all the advantages and things that women have been given in our society, they still aren't happy. They still want more and more and more from us. They want not just to be equal to men, they want to have all the advantages of being a man and all the advantages of being a woman, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're going to have to give something up. You're either going to have to decide that you want to be a man and then just do it. I guess they can do that these days. Or just be a woman and be happy at being a woman. There are things that women are great at and they're very successful at, and I think you can be very successful and have a very fulfilling life if you just follow that path. But if you're trying to be a man, you're going to be frustrated and upset all the time. As we are seeing, because most radical feminists are not happy people. These people are very angry and sad and upset constantly. They suffer from mental illnesses. They are just, they're like the burr under the saddle, you know, of our entire society. They just make everybody's life miserable. So here are some things that women want from men that they haven't gotten from the legal system yet. And just be prepared, guys, because they're coming for it. And you know, as well as I do, that the first thing that they're going to want from you is they want penises. Now, I don't know if they want to have their own penis, or if they just want to keep a penis in the jar, or if they just want to have all the advantages of a penis, but there's certainly penis envy going on here. And I don't know if they want to stand up and pee, but yeah, the whole penis thing is something we all need to be very, very concerned about, because at any moment, you know, we may be seeing lots and lots of girls with penises, so just be aware of that. Women really resent the fact that men are physically stronger than they are, and they really want that physical strength. Well, unfortunately, again, we're not going to be able to pass any laws that give you physical strength, and it really doesn't seem to matter what you do. I guess you could take steroids and lift weights and you might get some stronger, but then you wouldn't really be women anymore now, would you? So most men are not really attracted to women who have really big muscles and are extremely lean. Like those women bodybuilders that we see on stage, if you've ever been to one of those contests, it's a little freaky, you know? I mean, I get it, they enjoy that thing and I'm not gonna knock them out, you know, for it. I know some guys may like that stuff, but for the most part, most men are not into that look. So be happy that you're not stronger. Be happy that men are physically capable of doing a lot of the things that you're not. It works in your favor, trust me. Women hate the fact that men can live really carefree lives. that we can have an I don't care or screw it kind of attitude about a lot of things and seem to be much, much happier in our day-to-day lives. While women have a very high level of neuroses constantly. They're constantly worried about something. They have anxiety. They're depressed. They're upset. They're concerned. They're at a very high level of just constant energy. And and they live in that world of fear of missing out. So women are very jealous of men for our uninterrupted careers, that we can have a career and not get interrupted by childbirth and raising children. And, I think there's a lot of men that would actually argue the opposite too. They would say they would much prefer that they could be the ones that stayed home and take care of the kids while you guys bring home the money. But if you did that, then you would hate your man, because if the man's not doing more than you are, making more money than you are, then you're not happy with him. So you can't have it both ways. Either be a woman or be a man. You can't have it both ways. Freedom to walk at night. And that's always one of those ones that makes me laugh, because men are far more likely to be the victim of violent crime than a woman is. But women believe that they're going to be the victims of violent crimes because that's what media tells you. Men are victims of violent crimes like 80% of the time. So yeah, please, you're fine. Just walk to your car, stay in a lit area, you'll be fine. Women want to be taken seriously. They feel like their opinions aren't taken seriously too oftentimes. Well, I think that part of that is because too oftentimes you're injecting a lot of emotion and feelings into your points. And the reason why men don't take you seriously is because emotions and feelings are not necessarily valid, or they're not continuously true. They change all the time. So you can't use a variable as something to build an argument on, because it doesn't make any sense. I think that if you just took a simple class in debate, you would understand that you can't make a decision based on the way you feel. You have to do it based on facts on the ground, what's actually happening in the world. Otherwise, you're constantly going to be making bad decisions. So yeah, men are a little bit less likely to take you seriously when you come up with an idea. Women are jealous that men have more carefree lives. I find that fascinating. Men are carefree when they're single, okay? Yeah, when they're married, it is nothing. There's nothing carefree about that, but that's a whole nother video, so we'll just leave it there. Now, this glass ceiling thing has always been an interesting one for me. Women are very jealous that men do not have a glass ceiling, and they feel like they do. Well, the reason for that has to do with another characteristic that is sort of ingrained in men to be leaders, and that's not something that's necessarily ingrained in women. I'm not saying that women can't learn it, but it doesn't come naturally to you. So the fact that more men are in leadership roles in corporations or in government kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's just the way we are. It's like peeing when we stand up. We can just do that. That's something that just comes natural to us. Being in a leadership role is something that comes very easily and natural to men. Women in leadership roles, it is possible, and it does happen, and certainly in the military and in other very structured environments it can work. But in environments like corporations, where there's a lot less structure, it can be very difficult to pull off. Speaking of peeing, women, of course, are very jealous of our ability to pee wherever we want, which isn't necessarily the case. I think these days, if you decide that if I wanted to pee on a bush around here right now, if anyone saw me, I could be considered a sex offender. So yeah, we don't have that one coming anymore. We don't have that advantage anymore. Beauty standards and beauty pressures, I think we've covered that. You guys do that to yourself. Women expect that of women, and when women don't look good, they talk shit about each other. So it's not a man thing, it's a woman thing. Lower emotional expectations. You guys think that we have lower emotional expectations and that you have to be more emotionally aware and enlightened and all that crap. I don't know about that. I think that's just your belief system again. People do expect a little bit less of men when it comes to that, because quite frankly, we tend to be a lot more rational and you guys tend to be a lot more emotional. I don't know that there's anything you can do about that. That's just the way you're built. So I think you just have to live with it. Freedom from biological clocks. Yeah, again, I don't think there's anything you can do about that. You can be as feminist as you want. You're not going to be able to change that, at least not with today's science. Maybe, in 100 years from now, you can have babies when you're 70. But would you want to? I mean, really? Really? Plus, yeah, you're going to have to artificially inseminate for obvious reasons. There's a lot of repeats in there, so I'm not going to keep going, but you guys get the idea. Women are very resentful and angry and jealous of men because our lives seem to be more structured and organized than theirs. We're not as pulled around by our emotions as they are. We're less likely to suffer from mental illness, like depression and anxiety that are so common these days. On whole, it is an easier life in many respects being a man, so long as you remain single. Now, if you get married and you decide that you're going to bring a woman into your life, you run the risk of creating a lot of conflict in your life and causing a lot of problems. If you're a man and you want to have a long-term relationship with a woman, you've got a really tough task ahead of you, because modern feminism has made it extremely difficult for a man to understand what he's getting into until it's too late. Media has done an amazing job at creating this illusion that women are these amazing people that are virtuous in just about every possible way. And so when we get into a relationship with a woman, right from the get-go, we are giving them the benefit of the doubt. We call it the halo effect. Well, this halo effect obviously is a myth, and it's something that causes us a great deal of pain and anguish. A man who is even, we'll call him red-pilled, who has an awareness for this halo effect and can see through to the true nature of a woman, still has to be very, very cautious, because they can be very unpredictable. Women will be on their best behaviors for the first few years even, and you may not know what you're getting into until you are deep into it. So I'm not sure I'll ever fully understand why women hate men so much, but it reminds me of a story of when my daughter was very young. She was like 4 years old, and we had this party. It was around the holidays, and we had a bunch of people over, and we laid out all this food on our dining room table so that people could just come and grab something and, and talk and eat at the same time. Well, on this layout of food, we included a tray of homemade chocolate chip cookies, and my daughter loved these cookies, and she would come to me all the time during the party asking me for a cookie, and I would give her a cookie from time to time, and she seemed quite happy with those cookies as she got them. But eventually I got busy or tied up, and I was unavailable to get her more cookies, and she just disappeared. And as the party started winding down, we couldn't find her anywhere. I mean, she was 4 years old. We're kind of freaking out a little bit. And I don't know what possessed me to look underneath the dining room table, because there was like this big tablecloth on it. But I did. And when I looked under the table, there she was with that tray of, now empty tray, of cookies, sick to her stomach. She had eaten all the chocolate chip cookies. She'd gotten everything that she ever wanted. She had eaten so many chocolate chip cookies that she spent the next 4 hours vomiting. Just chocolate cookies coming up all over the place. And I think that's what's happened with women, is they've gotten everything they want, and now they want more. They want more than can be given. And now they're making themselves sick on it. And I think in addition to making themselves sick on it, they're making us all sick as well. So that's my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. If so, if you think I'm off in some way, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. But I think that they just are unhappy, and they want someone to make them happy. And they don't realize that the only person who can make them happy is themselves. Just like my daughter, she just wanted those cookies to make her happy. And, she thought that by eating all the cookies, she would be happy. But all it did was make her violently ill. And I think now we're watching feminists get violently ill, and they're blaming us for it. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please let me know in the comments. And remember, like and subscribe, and I will advise you to stay healthy, and if at all possible, stay single.